Fanger ambushed us twice as we attempted to make our delivery. Once in the village, and again at Glarth's shack as we made the handoff. We incapacitated her there. I finished her off as the others argued on what to do with her. She was persistent. She was violent. That made her dangerous. This clearly upset Rian. Hopefully we can stay out of trouble in today's short quest and long rest.
What about the rest of you?
I need stuff.
Need stuff.
Gonna go shopping after that? After brutally choking a woman on a thorn whip?
Like, I'm hungry. Anybody else hungry?
So as the party is, wandering back into town, with some of you more solemn than others, kind of looking over your shoulder, can see Glarth limping through the bloodied and trampled snow towards this corpse that he hefts over his shoulder and starts, glancing to either side, hauling off towards the waterfront, where presumably he can dispose of it more readily. Gradually passes out of sight, leaving the rest of you with now being around noon, a few hours before the ship leaves to get things done. So, as you guys leave the edge of town, head back towards the center of it, where things are a little more bustling. It is the cold season. Most people, if they're not bundled up in furs, are rushing from building to building. Those that you do pass, when they're stepping out of a house or a business, you can almost feel the blast of heat that exits with them onto the street as you pass. There are a handful of different shops that you pass, a general store at one point, a blacksmith shop, a couple of taverns here on the waterfront. Anything in particular catch your eye?
Dreamer will drop into the general store and pick up some furs and stuff to keep himself warm, and a blanket.
No. And we already discussed a bit about what you would be picking up, so if you want to subtract that gold from your inventory already. So, Dreamer has his supplies on hand. What about the rest of you?
I think Rian has been compelled to acquire a component pouch, but he doesn't know why. Like, I think his connection with Miri has started to... Some things are starting to click in his head, and he doesn't really understand why they're clicking. Like, he's just kind of drawn to things, like he feels more connected to her, and again, he doesn't really get it yet. He has this, like, feeling like there's certain things in his head, and essentially, mechanically, it's the stuff for the magic that at some point he will gain as he goes, but he, at the time, is like, he doesn't really know why it's happening. Like, he's starting to get these thoughts that are, like, of things he knows, because it's, it's very similar to, like, sorceress stuff, where it's just innate in you, and you kind of get it. So he's like, so I think he's finding himself, like, drawn to wanting to get himself a component pouch with, like, certain items and things that go along with things that he might have in the future, but doesn't know really why he's doing it.
Alright. So, not really something that they have at the general store.
Yeah, so I figured he would just shop around looking for something like that, but doesn't know if he'd even find anything like that.
A bit of asking around town, and really the only place that anyone can point you to would be Gelman's Curios, which is a shop that is, you almost walk past it the first time. It's this very, very small, squat building with a roof that almost seems to sag over a sign of what looks to be a very ornate but peeling painted gold G.
Okay.
Those of you who are joining him are free to come along as you enter into a small space that is done almost entirely in very gaudy, obviously fake gilt, as in, like, you know, a lot of the ornamentation is, you know, the sort of painted peeling gold. The shelves themselves are painted gold, and you could see the brown peeking through underneath.
Yeah, it's like wood underneath and painted
there
gold.
is a pot-bellied halfling standing in the middle of what appears to be like a 20 by 10 shop. It's not particularly large. Even the counter off in one corner is comparatively short, and he seems to be adjusting a stack of books on a center table that just almost kind of divides the room. Each of them, of course, bound, like the edges of the pages are each done with gold, and you can almost see him. He's got a little ink pot next to him that he is brushing the pages with on the edges to give them that, you know, gold edging, almost as if they had been done deliberately at manufacture. And as you enter, he kind of, oh, 1 second, and he very carefully puts the lid back onto his ink pot and kind of blows onto the pages that he had previously been quote-unquote gilding. Hi, I'm Geldman. There's something I can get for you. Welcome to my curios.
Oh, that's very welcoming of you. I appreciate that. I just I've been looking for some things. It's just some odds and ends here and there that I've been looking to acquire. I was just wondering if you had some of them. They seem a little odd, but it's just something that my own curiosity.
Oddities and curiosities are my specialty.
Aye.
You're not looking for anything gold, are you?
Gold isn't really popping into my head.
Shame, really.
Yeah, that's not what I was really looking for. I was looking for a branch. Branches that have been struck by lightning. Do you have anything like that?
He kind of looks up towards the ceiling
Mm-hmm.
and taps his chin, and as you're looking around, you can see that all the shelves are a little dusty and are absolutely just covered with a assortment of just random things. You see a pair of old socks at one point. There is a glass vial filled with what look like nail clippings.
Gross.
There is a locket that is sort of open and has been propped up. And you can see a very, very faint picture of what looks to be either a goblin or a very ugly child. And
Nice.
after a moment, he kind of swings his attention back on you. I think I know just the thing. If you want to look about, see if anything catches your eye, I may well have such a instrument. You would be a magic user, wouldn't you?
No, actually. I've never actually dabbled in magic at all.
Shopping for a friend, I understand.
Yeah, let's go with that. It's more just for curiosity's sake. It seems like I've heard mention of it. Been on my brain, I'd say, recently. And just, I just thought maybe for like a trinket or just to hold on to, I guess. Not really sure. Just kind of drawn to it at the moment.
Right. You stay right there, look about, see if anything else catches your eye. As he scurries to the low counter, you can hear the rasp of small boxes and drawers being pulled out as he searches through. What about the rest of you in this small space? Would you have joined our intrepid dragon knight?
No, Bellark would not.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it makes sense if Grin was there. If I was going into a...
Alright.
So, you've seen a master at work and now you're curious.
And if the guy's gone, I would kind of look to Grin and be like, okay, so it's kind of strange. Lately I've been getting these thoughts, and I've been thinking about like stuff I don't know, the things I don't even really comprehend. Like,
Just kind of raises his brows.
yeah, like items that I need to have for some reason, and I've been noticing I can do something that I never could do before.
Is it perhaps getting to the point?
Nice.
That was awesome.
Now, you are currently not alone in the room. Your the proprietor is pulling drawers open behind his low counter. Does seem to be distracted
I'm
at the
sorry,
very least.
I can't help myself sometimes. Go on.
No, it's fine. Yeah, if he's distracted, I'd be like, I just, and he kind of like pulls him aside in a second, and he's going to do a quick like prestidigitation with his fingers, and make like little electric sparks come off him. As a can, do I have to roll for that? Or
No,
okay.
it's just a cantrip.
Yeah, so he like just kind of creates this like little electrical sparks in his hand, and he's like, they don't seem to do anything, but like I never could do this before, and I'm kind of confused. And like I said, now I'm starting to have like thoughts of items that I'm going to need, and I don't really understand why, and I can't help that it has something to do with Miri.
Question, yes. What type of element is she associated with?
Honestly, I don't really know. I don't know much about dragons.
Me neither. That's why I
Yes,
asked.
Well,
I can tell you from personal experience that not all magical ability is learned. Sometimes it is innate.
I think I might be a sorcerer.
No. No. Oh God, no.
Well, then, what are you saying?
Something else. But that is definitely magic, and you can definitely do it.
This is,
Whether or not it grows, well, that remains to be seen. It's possible that this little parlor trick will be all you can do.
I mean, I can't deny that it'd be interesting to be able to, cast spells. I've seen the things you and Dreamer can do, and it's quite fantastic.
Yes, unfortunately, it doesn't save me from were-rat bites, so that's...
Yeah, speaking of which, how you doing there? You seem to sink your teeth into you pretty well there. You doing all right?
Well, from what little I know, it's kind of a wait and see. Well, at any rate, keep your eyes open. I might get you.
He kind of like uneasily looks at him like,
Showing worry is
okay.
not his style, but he is not pleased.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But he also knows that there's little he can do about it now. But find me at some point and we can see what you're capable of.
Okay. I'll take you up on that. In the meantime, let's keep it on the down low. That's probably not a thing.
And I'll make sure that this halfling doesn't sell to you, well, nothing.
Now, since you have sort of pulled Felgrin off to one side to have this very hushed conversation in a corner, the shelf nearest you are of a variety of different objects on it. There's a couple of toy soldiers, one of them missing a head. There appears to be like a tiny cage. It doesn't have a door though, there's just the hinges where a tiny door used to be, and it was pulled off at one point. But there's also what looks to be almost like a snow globe filled with water. But inside, bumping against the glass, seemingly directionless, is a tiny clockwork goldfish that is just kind of ticking and clicking along as it wiggles around its very small glass prison.
You'd pluck it off the shelf.
Just continues to clink up against the glass and wiggle. And you could tell, it's obviously mechanically made. You could see the gears working in it. The bulging eyes on either side just kind of almost seem to flick in random directions.
He's gonna hold on to it.
After a moment, the proprietor goes, "I found it!"
Yep.
And he's holding up what looks to be a branch about 8 inches long, forked at one end, obviously singed at some point, with a little bit of a crumble of leaf that just kind of falls off and turns to dust before it even strikes the counter as he holds it up to you. You're speaking of something like this, yes?
I guess. I don't really...
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's would be what I'm looking for. Honestly, it looks about right. Like, Grin, would you have any idea if this would be something I'm looking for?
Would he?
Roll me a Arcana
Not
check.
his best stat, but it's gonna be
Can't be worse than mine.
a hot roll here. Oh, that's still secret.
Oh, that was a 14.
Okay. Not bad.
So, you being a innate caster, you aren't particularly well educated as far as components are concerned. You really just kind of pick up what feels right to you and what works with your magic. That being said, the chaotic nature of the magic that flows in your veins has given you a bit of insight when it comes to what others might use for their own casting. And you are feeling almost a kinship to the chaotic storm that must have struck this branch at one time. You are not seeing it as something that could have been damaged thusly by fire. This is probably a lightning-struck branch, as intended.
He'll pick it up. Let's set down the globe and pick it up, inspect it. This is all for show.
Nice.
Just kind of
While you're doing that, I think I'm tapping on the side of the little snow globe.
fix it with a scrutinizing gaze.
The clockwork goldfish is following your finger along the glass.
Like, oh, look at that! I'd like slide it back and forth. But like, oh, he's a
Don't
cheeky
touch that.
fucker. Look at this. Oh, sorry. Oh, my bad. Wait a minute.
It's none of your
Like
concern.
at first he like reels from it when he says it. He's like, don't touch that. It's like, oh shit. Oh. And he's like, wait a minute. You don't get to tell me what to do.
Yeah, I think he would kind of toss it casually at you. Yeah, seems legit.
Excellent. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. And if I could get I don't know, like a little pouch or something I could carry this in. So essentially purchasing a component pouch.
Yeah, I think I've got something like that. Are you buying the globe as well?
It depends on how much you want for it.
I've had that for a bit, and no one's ever really been interested. I'd say 2 gold for the globe, and component pouch. Give me half an hour and I could put together some accoutrements for a budding caster. I being a bit of a magician myself.
Well, that's very kind of you. What's it gonna run me? Do you know? I know what it's actually costs if you need that. Let's say it's supposed to be 25 gold.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
roughly in the ballpark of 25 gold.
Okay. Yep. I can. That seems fair. At least I think it
Seems
does.
fair.
I don't really know. It's all kind of new to me. So.
Well, if that fish has caught your eye, I do also have a clockwork spider that really only wiggles and moves about when no one's looking at it.
No, that's not okay. I don't want that.
I think the fish will be fine. He says he'll slide 2 gold across the counter.
All right. So half an hour or so, and you are given, sort of pushed across the counter towards you, a bulging satchel. If you think like Indiana Jones's satchel, that has when you flip it open, there's a couple of randomly assorted sized jars in the bottom, each with their own, like one of them's got a little piece of sulfur inside. One of them is filled to the brim with what looks like charcoal that has been finely ground. Couple of small, lesser value stones and the like. Nothing that makes sense to you, but certainly things that you imagine that, like the branch, if it feels right, it'll be what you reach for.
Nice. Yeah. I think he'd give a once over just in the shop real fast just to see if, like, because now he's kind of going off feel with this stuff, so it just kind of, if anything catches his eye. I mean, mechanically nothing. He can't sense magic or anything, so it's not like.
Roll me a perception check.
I can do that. Oh,
4.
think I got everything I needed here.
Yeah, really just a bunch of random like you could probably spend a few hours in here and still not see everything. It's just that much clutter.
Yeah, I think that low roll is like him kind of just almost uneasy about the whole thing. Like he doesn't know where this is coming from. He doesn't know why. He's pretty sure it's got something to do with Miri, but he doesn't know that for a fact. So he's just like, he's got urges to go do things and he doesn't know why it is. So I think he's just uncomfortable and wants to get out of there once he gets his pouch. It's like, oh, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Here's your gold. And he throws him a couple
Thank you.
A couple platinum and some gold, and then heads on out.
I'll walk with you. I've never had an apprentice before.
Let's not get too excited there. I don't. Actually, you know what? I apologize. I know.
First lesson.
Yes.
Never contradict the master.
Oh, okay. Let's. Is this really how it's gonna go? Are you gonna be doing this like whole master apprentice thing? Like, cause don't get me wrong, I'd appreciate it if you could give me some tips and help me out here. But like, giving you a little bit of power over me just seems like.
As your patron, it would be my pleasure to give you tips.
Patron. Okay. Okay.
Oh, calm down.
He just like everything he says, it's just like maybe I don't want to learn magic. This just is.
Trust me, I'll be involved just to see you mess up. That will be payment enough.
See, now that sounds about right. There we go. That I 100% believe right there. Nope. He's like, okay, that can work. You can watch me screw up and do whatever goes wrong. I mean, if I even if this goes anywhere, right now all I can do is make little pretty sparks out of my hand.
Oh.
They don't do anything.
Goodness, you've no idea what can go wrong. So many things.
Oh, well, that does not put me at ease at all.
It usually works out. Usually.
You do not instill confidence. I mean, you seem very confident, but that does not instill confidence in me. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see where we go from here. So, but I appreciate it. I appreciate you being willing to give me a few pointers here and there, and I guess we'll see how it plays out, my friend.
My pleasure.
All right. So, what about our other two? What would you guys have been doing while they were off doing their shopping?
Looking for the weapon shop.
Nice.
Weapon shop.
Oh.
All right. You do recall as you were heading out towards the edge of town, passing a blacksmith shop on your way, and retracing your steps, you actually smell and hear it before you see it. You can hear the faint, ting, ting, and catch a whiff of that acrid smoke on the air, and even see the plume of it emerging out from between the buildings. And I will ask, is Dreamer with you?
I figured I would go with Krellick.
And as per usual, you are getting odd looks as you pass through the streets. A lot of people double taking and kind of leaning over to whisper to one another. But no one really stops you though. And eventually you do find your way to the forge. There is a open air yard where you see a silver-haired dwarven female with her hair pulled back into a tight bun, and the wrinkles of age and the pockmarks of soot on her face. She's wearing a leather apron that is just scarred and almost blackened with how much soot is in her face a lot of the time. And you watch as this very severe looking figure takes a red hot blade that she's working on, and with a very practiced thrust shoves it down into what looks to be a barrel of oil that when she pulls it out, the blade itself is a flame from the oil that is dripping from it and dripping onto the ground and hissing on the cold cobblestones beneath as she quenches the blade and then retracts it to continue to work. And seeing you approach, kind of raises a heavily gloved hand in greeting. A smaller dwarf, this time with pale blonde hair and bright blue eyes, a young boy comes rushing up to you and kind of intercepts you before you're able to reach the blacksmith. Hi. You look like a customer?
That's what I'm trying to be.
Right. Follow me. We're gonna, counter. And he seems a little shy, and is kind of glancing very nervously at the blacksmith at work, who has only really glanced up now that she's continued working on this blade. The boy leads you to a covered awning where there's a counter that there is a door behind it. You could see that the counter extends almost through the wall and into the interior, as if they are used to in the summer treating people both indoors and out. And even from the window carved into the wall nearest you, you can feel the heat that is just like almost blasting out from inside. Boy is a little red in the cheeks, but whether that's from cold or from extreme heat, you're not quite sure. It seems he's kind of going back and forth between two extremes. He climbs up onto a box behind the counter and plants his hands on it to lean towards you. So what can I get you?
I was actually... He pulls out the hand crossbow, lays it down on the counter. I was looking for some bolts for this thing, so in case anything tries to run away.
And he, for being about half your height, you would place him at probably 14 to 15 years old as far as dwarves go. Is already starting to get some of his whiskers on either side of his cheeks. But he picks up the hand crossbow and sort of peers down the sight with a very practiced eye. This is obviously somebody that, similar to your upbringing or some of the dwarves around you in your upbringing, has grown up around sort of the martial weaponry and the forge and its works.
He just kind of watches the kid, lets him look it over.
Yeah, looking to sell it?
No, I think I might be needing it.
He needs it.
You wanted bolts, yeah?
I need some bolts.
Standard crossbow bolts not really gonna fit in this, but I think I have what you need. We sold a couple of these to a woman probably a couple days ago, so we're a little low.
Ah, I see. This woman have a name?
Oh, we didn't get a name.
Ah, shame. Okay, well, how many do you got left?
Let's see. She bought a quiver full. We might have. And he ducks into the building really quick, seemingly not even giving you like a "hey, I'll be back in a moment," just kind of distractedly, in his head, going through like, "Oh, where do I need to go for that?" Disappears for a few minutes and comes back with a small case that he puts on the counter and sort of opens to show you about a dozen bolts. Each of them a bit shorter than the bolts that you are experienced with that would fit in a normal crossbow. Obviously something that is more easily concealed. Here, these are the ones that you want, I think.
Huh. Okay.
Fact, and he very hastily rigs the hand crossbow to fire, puts one of the bolts in, aims it at what looks to be a very battered forge sign. It's literally just the carved anvil that's been painted black hanging from a chain, and fires, and the bolt embeds itself a good inch into the wood and leaves it swinging. Yeah, seems to be a right fit.
Well now, so, wait, if this isn't gonna work real well, I mean, what about me trading this in to you?
Oh no, I mean, it works fine.
Aye, but what I'm saying is it's gonna be hard to find the bolts. I'm not much for having to hide something.
Oh, I getcha. Alright.
So,
If you're looking to trade it in
trade up to a bigger one.
to a bigger one, let me do the math really quick. And he kind of reaches under the counter and, heaving, turning a little redder in the face, slams what looks to be a very heavy leather tome onto the counter that he flips open and starts thumbing through. C, U, C, R. And his finger is tracing down the sort of price listing that he has. Give me a second. Which sort of crossbow are you looking for?
I mean, basically he's only gonna get one shot before he's gotta reload with whatever, so pretty much anything.
So you're probably looking for a heavy crossbow.
Do as much damage as possible with that first shot.
Well, I can trade you. We can sell heavy crossbows for 50 gold.
Okay.
And if you're looking for how much you want for this one,
Aye, how much do I get for this?
It's small, but it's pretty well made. And he gets this very shrewd look on his face. I don't don't know that it's worth quite as much as a heavy crossbow.
Actually, I think it'd be worth a little more. I know craftsmanship, and that's a little harder to do than the heavy one.
Yeah, but it's so much smaller.
Aye, for the sneaky types. I think you'll be able to...
I mean, but you're not... I mean, how would you even know? You're not sneaky yourself.
No, but the person that did it was sneaky.
Why aren't they selling it? Did you steal it?
I procured it because they weren't gonna need it anymore.
Ah, so you did.
Attaboy.
Question: did you sell the crossbow or just the bolts to this woman?
No, just the bolts. She already had it.
A couple days ago?
Mm-hmm.
What about just an even trade?
An even trade. Yeah, but you're gonna have to buy the bolts.
I'll buy bolts.
And he kind of leans over to one side, looking past you. Hey, Ma! And you could hear the ringing of the hammer, the very steady strikes from the woman at the forge, kind of pause. And you hear this very frustrated sound as a very hefty, not even just muscle, but very busty, gray-haired dwarven female kind of elbows up to the counter beside you. What is it, lad? Oh, well, you know, they're buying they wanted to do a trade for, and he kind of points to the hand crossbow, and for a heavy, takes a big sniff and kind of rubs her nose. You can see that she leaves just a streak of soot on her, the bridge of her nose there when she does that.
Krellick seems completely used to it, so...
Yep.
He swoons.
Oh, the
Bella mi
vapors.
amor.
Dreamer scratches at where his nose would be. Just like,
Tink, tink, tink.
Tink, tink, tink.
Poor little tink tink.
Well, did you tell him that you'd do a trade? Oh, he actually offered it. Yeah. Did you steal that from somebody?
Oh, no, I got it and I just don't have any use for it. It's too small.
Right, so, yes. Even trade. Not a lot of people looking for this sort of equipment. We can do a trade, heavy crossbow and the bolts, for the hand crossbow and 10 gold.
How many bolts am I getting?
Standard case is 20.
Okay.
question.
Yeah?
The little one was saying you sold some bolts to a woman a couple days ago.
So a lot of equipment to people.
And I will describe the were-rat woman as we saw her out of her were-rat form.
As you almost finish with your description, she kind of raises a hand almost in protest and is like, I don't spend an awful lot of time looking at customers, but lad, yeah, no, that sounds like her.
Okay.
Why? This is her crossbow?
Curiosity.
Look, I'm not looking to be the fall guy or gal for anyone trying to sell stolen equipment. And if this does belong to a previous customer of mine, you probably want to find somewhere else to sell it.
It won't be a problem.
What makes me so sure of that?
I'm not telling a lie.
Krellick just kind of looks at Dreamer really weird.
What reassurance do I have that the previous owner is not going to send some guard to my door asking for their property back? Because I don't believe that this is something either of you would normally pick up.
They are not the type to go to guards.
No, I assure you, they're not telling no one.
And she kind of looks over the craftsmanship again of the hand crossbow on the counter. The hand crossbow and 20 gold for what you're asking.
He just
And we just leave
stares
it at
at Dreamer. Ah, you fucking big ass fucking. I guess I have no choice.
I will hand over a platinum piece.
Nice.
Well, then I will hand 10 gold on the counter.
Alright. So you can take that hand crossbow from your inventory and add a heavy crossbow,
Nice.
20 bolts, and 20 gold less.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 10. 10-10.
Yep.
The Adventures of 10-10.
Hate you.
You don't. You love it. You love my silly little references of things that no one that listens to this will ever understand or get.
Nope. Yeah, never.
Was there
never
anything
in a
else we
million
could
years.
get you?
No, we better just get out of here. Come on.
I'm gonna get back to my work.
Aye.
And she kind of gives you a very perfunctory salute before tugging her heavy leather mitts back on and returning to her work at the forge, and you hear, after a bit, the tink, tink, that very steady metallic sound.
Alright, boy, thanks for your help.
I'm sorry, Kralik,
Eh,
but I don't think the rat was our stowaway.
maybe not.
If they sold the bolts a couple days ago.
No, then she probably wasn't.
Oh, shit.
Interesting.
Good. Oh, good talk. Good. I didn't even think of that. Those are good questions.
Maybe we should find out where the others went, unless you want to go do something.
No, I don't have any more money.
Okay, off to find the others we go.
Oh, I thought you guys were gonna have like a nice day out.
Well, if you want to have a picnic or something, is that what you're trying to say?
That's what it is. I want you guys to go have a nice little. We'll find you just in some glade off to the side, little blanket laid out.
Kralik's just eating all the food.
Yep. Dreamer just stares at the sky. Like, what have you guys been up to?
Alright, so about an hour or two after the fight over at Glarth's place, you reconvene. It's now getting to be about mid-late afternoon. You probably have an hour or more before the ship is set to leave on the evening tide. What are you guys doing as you come back together?
I think he's still a little confused as far as how he feels about how the day went. Say, not only is he put off by the whole not knowing why he needed to procure the items, but also this poor rat girl getting killed and not being able to save her over something silly that we didn't even truly understand. Like, we assume it had something to do with her being a scorned lover type thing, but so we never got a 100% straight answer. It was mostly like how she reacted to things we asked. So he's not stoked about taking a life without having an understanding of why he had to take that life. Besides, protecting the people.
And you're a brand new sorcerer's apprentice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. That's one of those blessings and a curse thing. He's not really sure how to take that either.
Exactly.
He's like, oh, I might be learning magic, but I have to learn it from Grin.
Yeah. Or at least partially, get the lay of the land.
Alright. So, any plans for the remainder of your stay on land? Or do we want to cut to the ship's departure?
I'd say we could probably cut to the ship's
probably
departure,
cut.
unless somebody else has something else.
I will share my information
About the couple days.
about our stowaway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the captain's going to want to hear that then, because he was pretty damn sure that it was the were-rat that had stowed away, but if what you're saying is the case, and she bought it a couple days ago, I mean, she was on land before we even got there.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, they're just wrong, but do you think they seem the type that they might just be confused which days someone comes in?
No, they would have remembered.
The most honest people in the world are drunks and children.
That is incredibly insightful.
That's what I was thinking. That was deep.
And very true, in
Yeah,
my experience.
Like, we all just kind of look at him all dumbfounded, like...
And he was a
Where'd
dwarven
that
child.
come
He was
from?
a dwarven child. He might have been both.
Why don't you say things like that more often instead of that weird
Yeah.
stuff you usually say?
They usually just turn into spiders or stare at us.
What do you mean?
See that weird look that you have right now?
It's just like the little eyes are just blunk, 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 blunk. The
That
little lights.
whole thing, he just kind of gestures with his hand.
Yes. Just from head to toe. Like,
Yes.
just like, this thing you
This
do.
whole aesthetic.
Yep. Everything that is in front of me here.
His mouth is just ajar.
Yeah.
Just like,
Oh, God.
Again, he waves his hand in front of his face. You there, buddy?
this is the most offended Dreamer has looked.
Amazing.
He's like,
Buckle up, it's only going to get worse.
yeah. He's like, I can't tell if he's offended or not. I'll say he wears the same expression all the time.
Krellick's just gonna
he-
kind of pat his back and be like, "Don't worry, Dreamer, I still like you."
I know what people look like when they're offended, and he's definitely offended.
Well then, apologize to him.
Turn and pat Krellick on the shoulder. Thank you, friend.
You're welcome.
Oh, we all like you. We're just teasing. Just a little bit of teasing. Don't worry.
Yes, we're all a little weird. I'm crimson with horns and a tail, so, we all have our...
I seem to be fine. I don't know about the rest of you, but...
You are a ginger.
What the hell is that supposed to
Krellick's gonna look at him too.
Yeah. Both kind of look at cocker heads.
I'm gonna
Like,
walk
coming
away.
from someone who's literally red,
I...
you're gonna call me a ginger.
He just kind of pulls a strand of his hair, but my hair, not ginger.
Well, I'm surprised you'd pull your own hair. That seems like, might put one of those out of place there. Must have took you all day to make sure it looked like you just had just the right amount of bedhead getting out, so you didn't look like you cared enough for about the day.
Krellick's gonna leave the married couple alone and just kind of wander off.
For your information, he goes with a slick back look, not a bedhead look.
Yeah.
So he's offended.
Yeah. Well, now you know how Dreamer felt. Just turn around and walk onto the ship.
Yeah, I'm more spiteful than Dreamer, he says as he follows behind you.
Yep. Oh, I'm sure.
All right.
Oh, hold on. I'll meet up with you in a moment. He's gonna go back to the rooms.
The what?
All right.
Their quarters.
Oh,
Quarters,
gotcha.
yeah.
Sorry.
Below deck, yeah. And what are you doing down there?
He's gonna take out that clockwork goldfish and leave it on Dreamer's nightstand.
Aw.
Oh, that's sweet. There isn't really a nightstand in here, but you are able to nestle it quite comfortably into what would be his bunk.
Then the
if, you were
bedpost,
actually-
whatever you can set it.
He just flops on
Yeah.
it and smashes it when he comes in. He's like, I'll just hide it in here.
Oh,
It'll be
no.
so cute. Dreamer just smashes it when he sits down. Oh, sad robot.
Secret gift for essentially saving his life.
Oh.
Oh, all right. So you kind of scurry ahead of the others when they get back on ship to deposit your gift. And the others, are you heading to your cabins first, or?
Probably first, just to give Miri a breather, and then go talk to the captain.
Alright. And you can see that as you come onto the gangplank, that all the sailors on deck are scurrying about, making preparations to depart. There are still supplies being brought up from Aurilssbarg, a bunch of crates that are being carried below to the lower holds, presumably full of trade goods to be brought back to the mainland. You can see the captain up toward the rear of the ship, the stern, giving commands, sort of shouting people down. There is a half-elven woman beside him who is almost repeating his orders, and people are running up to her to discuss things, and she's turning around to talk them over with the captain before returning back to talking over with them. This being your first time really getting a prolonged look at the first mate, a very, very narrow-looking half-elven woman with ears that almost stick out to the sides there. But you head down to your cabins while everyone else is making preparations to depart. And Dreamer, on your pillow as you enter, sort of nestled down as if someone had placed it very gingerly, is a small glass orb, about the size of your two hands cupped together, perfectly clear, the liquid inside. The glass is a little scratched up, but nothing too noticeable. And inside is a tiny clockwork goldfish with googly eyes that is just kind of like bumping perpetually against the glass. What are you doing?
He will pick it up and hold it very close to his face.
It's about what I expected.
The goldfish inside does not seem to react to your presence, but it does stop kind of like bumping into the glass at random. It just seems to be trying to swim towards you. In the way that fish do when they're kind of, almost grinding their foreheads against the glass. And this one, because it's got those big old metallic googly eyes on either side, it's just kind of ting, 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 as it's rocking back and forth against the glass.
Can't get where you're going either, friend. Me too. I'll set it back down on the pillow.
It just kind of resumes wobbling in its very janky clockwork way around its little sphere. Never seems to stop, just always in motion.
And return to the others.
Where have the rest of you gathered?
So, I was just going to spend a little bit of time down with Miri, letting her out to get a breather, and then gathering up with everybody and heading back up to talk to the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you close the cabin door, she is clawing her way out of your pack, and you can almost hear the seams creaking a little from her kind of like forcing her way up out of it.
Oh, that was a very long time.
I know. I am so sorry, dear. Like, there was, I should have let you out during the fight, but I was afraid that little thing would see you, and then who knows?
I didn't want to be in that fight.
Okay, that's good. That's very good. And again, I'm so sorry you had to see that. I wish we had a chance to convince that poor girl that there was another way of doing things, but she seemed dead set in trying to hurt us.
Did you do right?
You know, I ask myself that a lot. I don't know if I did right on that one. Perhaps I should have spoke up a little more, made sure no one hurt her, but then again, what if she had come back and hurt you? I never would have lived with myself if that was the case, but I think in life all we can do is try to do the best thing. Every decision that we have, just try to make the best decision you can with the information you have.
She gets this very intensely thoughtful look on her tiny reptilian face, and then very slowly nods, seemingly satisfied with that answer. And then immediately switches from, serious question mode to small child that has been cooped up for too long mode.
Yeah.
Starts bouncing around the cabin, climbs up onto the bunks like she had on previous days, and is gliding the very short, only 5 feet square distance from one bunk to the other, down to the top of one of the, where you guys have your packs, sort of thumps down onto your pack, tries to launch herself back up onto the upper bunk. Very rambunctious, small sugar high in that space.
Yeah, I think he'd just kind of smile and watch her run, and every so often put a hand out for her to jump onto and then jump off of, and just kind of play with her a little bit that way while she gets some of that out of her system.
As she's touching down in your hand, you are noticing that she is heavier today even than she was a few days ago.
Yeah, he sighs heavy at that. He's just like, oh, it's not going to be long now before she's not going to fit in that pack, and he's going to have a lot of explaining to do to a lot of different people, and it's a whole new ball game after that.
You have to go talk to the captain, don't you?
Yes, we do have to go talk to the captain and say,
Can I stay here?
Yeah, you know what, if you want to stay here, but if you hear anybody come to the door, that's not me. If you hear somebody, that's not my voice, and if I come back, I'll make sure that I say something first, so it's me. But if it's anybody else, you hide, okay?
Like a password.
Well, if you can do that,
Yeah.
then it's okay. Yep, you can stay here.
Alright.
And she continues to just
Yeah.
bounce from bunk to bunk. And the rest of you kind of coming together to go meet the captain. Currently at the stern of the ship, as you return topside, they seem to have finished bringing on supplies and have sort of started pulling up the gangplank. And as you come closer to the stern of the ship, you hear him, Right! Get those men pulling up them anchors! Somebody get the long poles, push us off the dock! Get those sails down! Sort of relaying orders, while the first mate is kind of continuing to direct people on the deck that are not immediately concerned with the process of getting the ship underway. As you approach the captain, he kind of does a double take on you and nods. So you managed to get back before we cast off. It's good. I knew I saw you come aboard.
Aye. But we have some good and bad news as far as things go. The Were-At,
Aye.
she's been handled. She's
Dead?
Aye, she's dead. But The problem is that we talked with a local blacksmith, and turns out that she bought bolts for her crossbow there almost 2 days ago, before the ship ever came to port. So that means she was here beforehand, and whoever killed your man was not her.
Before he can say anything, the first mate kind of glances up sharply at the group of you, and then leans over to whisper something into the captain's ear. And he kind of looks at her, and looks at the rest of you. Right, I'm gonna be directing things up here. I'm gonna leave you in the hands of Sylvie. And, sort of half-elven woman beckons for you to follow her closer to the railing of the ship, and is reaching into a pouch, a satchel, hanging at her side as she does.
There was a delivery when you came back aboard the ship, a white dragonborn,
Ooh.
And how would you be knowing about that?
because he was brought to me, not to disturb the captain.
Oh, so Glarth came to the ship.
Oh, okay.
I did not get his name.
Okay. Yes, we met with a white dragonborn off the ship.
I say that you dealt with this were-rat that was bothering us.
Aye, and she's been handled, as it were.
And she kind of nods and finishes rooting around in her satchel and takes out what looks to be a stone similar to what the Dragonborn Glarth had given you earlier, you know, that cat-like figure. This time, however, it is a much more round shape and appears to have a face carved into it. A man's face.
This, he said, was in her belongings. I do not know what it is, but perhaps it might be of use to you.
Yeah. Grin would reach his hand out.
Alright.
Take a look at it.
Roll me a Arcana check.
Oh boy.
I believe in you. Here it is. This is where you kick its ass.
I got the last one. Alright.
15.
15.
So, you would have actually probably seen a few of these in the Feywild. They aren't used by some of the more powerful Fey. They have other means to communicate. This was mostly used by their servants, people that were sent out for brief errands. And you would recognize this as a sending stone. This is a means to communicate at vast distances once a day to whoever holds the other of the stones.
Interesting.
Does it mean anything to you?
Afraid not. Just a very intricately carved stone. But it is interesting.
Roll me a deception check on that one.
I don't just get it for free. What's up with that? 11.
She gives you a very skeptical look.
I, like the captain, do not appreciate the bullshit, but I take that to mean it does have some significance. And if it could help you find whoever is causing trouble on our ship, I will overlook it.
Well, thank goodness.
I have work to do. Is there anything else you need topside? If not, we ask that passengers do descend to the bows of the ship.
I think it says welcoming like the bowels. But yes, I don't think we need anything else, do we?
I don't think so.
Alright. So you return to your cabins, find Miri unharmed, still rambunctiously running around, and hear through the hull of the ship the sounds of Aurilssbarg, the sort of shouts of a portside town, the faint plinking of the blacksmith at her forge, the scent of smoke and cooking foodstuffs and people in close proximity to one another fading away. All these things fade until you're just left with the gentle rocking of the ocean and the sound of waves all about you and the shouts and footsteps of sailors at work on the deck as you start yet again eastward back to the mainland. Destined for Fireshear, the town that you had previously left after facing down a couple of mephits and assisting a very eccentric Durgar with his forge.
Yep. That was fun.
That was fun. And your journey goes for a few days, uneventfully, rather quiet. And it is about 5 days into your journey when you are back above deck and you can see the distant mountains of the mainland approaching. And Aurilssbarg is now far behind you over the horizon. That you see over the fog-shrouded frigid sea the beginning of a misty morning, the peace of which is broken by a shout from the crow's nest above. You hear shouted above you as you're all kind of arranged on deck, waiting for the ship to dock, in a day or so. "Captain! Something's headed right towards the stern, moving fast. It's an intercept course." And leaning out, looking towards the rear of the ship, you see, emerging from between the ice floes that are drifting down from the north, a very, very large wedge-shaped head.
Oh boy.
Bleached white, probably about 10 feet wide, with glowing black onyx eyes in either of its sockets. And actually, as you look, even at this distance, 100 feet off the stern of the ship, you see that they're not eyes, but stones that glow even under the water with this very black, almost evil light. You see a 20-foot long body, ribbed with a single fin cutting through the water, and a tail that propels it faster and faster towards the ship, as what appears to be a giant skeletal shark is bearing down on the Icebreaker.